will make money. Bettors.
What's up, everybody? Couple of Bettors, episode 64, Divisional round playoffs. The Bills are still alive.
Playoffs?
They're still alive, yeah, exactly.
Bills are still alive, but now it gets scary.
Yep, well, now it gets real. So it's happy and sad times because the amount of games are going down each weekend, so you're going to get there. But it's good if the Bills keep going, right?
Yes. Well, we'll talk about that. It's pretty much the game of the week, of course. I mean, There's not a lot, but this is the game that America has been waiting for.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we'll get into that. Right now we have Let's Face It, and not a lot of Let's Face It's going on. Kind of picked at a couple things that might have been important to know, but there's really not much happening.
Yep. So I guess first off, Mike McCarthy, he did not come to an agreement with the Cowboys, so they're letting him move on and find another deal. So he's already interviewing. He went out for an interview for the Bears, right? So Cowboys going to be looking for a coach.
Yeah, so apparently Jerry Jones has requested to talk to Sanders and Saleh, which is great. Or Saleh, yeah. Saleh, whatever. Good for Saleh. I think they did him dirty. Be good for him to get into a team. Jerry Jones seems like he loves his coaches once they start. So, it'd be a nice change for him, for Robert. Sanders, though, I also understand that concept. Go back to the team that you were the star for a long time ago. But honestly, I think it would be really sick to have him in Vegas with the Raiders and Tom Brady, and just kind of like the celebrities come together and form a football team. So I have mixed feelings about that one.
Yeah, I heard that, Deion, for his own son, he's got a couple teams he does not want his son to play for. Mm-hmm. And one of them was just released as the New York Jets.
Yes.
So that's an obvious one. But yeah, Saleh, they talked about him, right away. It was like, well, he's going to go back to being a defensive coordinator. He'll go back to San Francisco and he'll be the DC there. And it was almost like a done deal. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the Jaguars wanted an interview for him. Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting, and then now with the Cowboys. So, good for him at least to get a little respect the fact that maybe he did dirty like you said.
Well, I think that helped. It was very obvious he was done dirty, and so now people are not holding it against him that he was fired because he shouldn't have been fired. Maybe if the team picked up tremendously after him being let go, did not happen. So you could just tell it was all just a stupid firing. So I like that everybody's giving him a shot. He has the potential to be a good coach. So.
Yep.
And then the last, not a big deal, but just kind of interesting. We watched the Chargers lose very terribly this past weekend to the Texans. So now it's Harbaugh's off season. He's actually going to have go under a heart procedure. He's got some what do you call it? Irregular heartbeat. Yeah. But also a hip replacement. So he's just kind of getting a lot of it done before the season starts again. And maybe it'd be a robotic Harbaugh this next season.
I know, it's funny when we think about these guys like Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll. They want to keep going. It's like Harbaugh's younger than those guys, and he's got heart shit going on. He's got the hip stuff. So look, the older you get, you got to deal with it from all ways. But I hope he gets through that pretty quickly so he can move on and start the process. You got the draft coming up. You got the whole thing. So join us with the off-season responsibilities that the Jets have been under for a while. All right, how did we do betting last week? Look, there's only a couple games. Hit rate not great, but I hit 2 out of my 4, and I did the ones that I were heavier on. I won, so that actually helped to save the week.
I didn't hit on much. My lock of the week covered, but I don't bet on my locks when they're the Bills. So that would have been a nice chunk of change to have, but not going to do it because I'm not jinxing this team. However, I did end up jumping on the Eagles with Josh. I did not say that last time. I was going to stay away, but I did, and that was my saving grace.
It's good.
Saving grace.
Well, look, I went heavy on the Bills and all that, so that I bet on your behalf.
Please don't do that. I hate when you do that, but I'm glad this one worked out. So.
Yep, you take the winnings.
Yep.
All right. Upcoming week, injury report. Look, less teams, less games, less injuries to report on. But it looks like for the Lions, David Montgomery is coming back. That's going to be a big help for them. I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah. Ray Davis is still in concussion protocol. However, he's been practicing all week in a non-contact jersey. They're very hopeful that he'll be able to play, but as of right now, it's not been announced.
Well, look, he's got the most time out of anybody. He's got up until Sunday, and it's the later game, so I hope he can get in there. Zay Flowers, I mean, it's questionable. They're kind of mum's the word, and Harbaugh is saying, we'll see.
The man has not practiced yet. So it's either they just tell him not to practice because he thinks he's good enough to not practice, or he's still hurt and they don't want anybody game planning him not being there, whatever it may be. But definitely, I assume that he's not playing, to be honest with you. It seems a little bit more like, this guy can't do it, and we don't want you. We want you to have to figure it out.
We'll know. Today is Thursday. We'll know by Friday whether if he doesn't come out as limited practice on Friday, he ain't going to be playing probably. And then Tyler Higbee, I mean, he exited the game with a chest injury and actually was hospitalized, and that was a weird thing. And they're saying now, like, it was kind of a weird, like, I think he should be okay. I don't know.
I mean, the man was only, like, stable when he was in the hospital the next day, so that'd be shocking, but who knows? So, anyways, keep all that in mind when you're placing your bets on these 6 games that we got?
4 games.
4 games, man. It's
2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. The next week, there's only 2 games, and then there's a week off to watch the Pro Bowl games, and then you get to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
All right, here's how it shakes out. Here's who's playing each other. This is the matchup. We'll see what happens here. But we only got 4 games, so we'll just get right into it. And the first off is the earlier game on Saturday. Texans at the Chiefs, who have been resting.
Those little motherfuckers. 3 weeks off, basically. If they were a non-starter, 3 weeks off. Maybe they'll come out rustier than they have been all season long.
I don't know about that. I mean, I will say that, like, for all these teams that are in the playoffs now, and especially this is the first game for the Chiefs for the playoffs for this year, they save plays, and there's certain game plan plays. They've been working on stuff that they have not showed all season that they're going to pull out, right? So, you know that they have an advantage because of that. Did they think they were going to be playing against the Texans? I don't think so. So, they probably had a little bit of change it up a little bit. But the Chiefs have a good defense, and the Texans have a good defense. Both of these are top 10 defenses playing against each other. And if you would have asked me about this game last year, I probably would have said there'd be more points. And if the under-over only says 41.5.
Because the Chiefs aren't who they used to be, but they're still winning.
Different team, different type of team, 23 degrees. It'll be a cold one. It's always kind of cold out in Kansas City this time of year. But I'm going for the over 41.5 points on this one. It's a low total. You got to think if the Texans have a chance to, win the game, they got to keep it close. Probably going to try to keep it on the ground a little bit with Joe Mixon. But if they don't turn the ball over, I see them scoring some points. And the Chiefs are definitely going to put up 20-something.
Well, it could go the opposite, actually. Because of the strong defense on the Chiefs, there's a good shot that C.J. Stroud will be turning the ball over a lot. But as you mentioned earlier, it could be, if it's closer to, score, where the Chiefs can get in right away for points, then they'll hit the over. So you have a lot of some pick sixes could be thrown. I don't know. And who knows? Maybe the Texans will fucking win this game and we'll all be blown away because you never know. It's the playoffs. That's why I'm leaning on the Chiefs because I refuse to put money on the darn Chiefs. It would be great if the Texans could beat them. But I also have a pretty good feeling that the Chiefs will win but not cover that 8.5 spread because that's what they do.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you think the Buffalo's going to beat Baltimore, if you can have the Chiefs lose this one to the Texans, that means Buffalo would be at home if they did beat Baltimore. But yeah, this is look. They got guys. Last week, the Texans put up 32, and it's like, all of a sudden, how did it happen? There's the special team stuff. There's, weird, like, fumble, return for touchdown, pick six type things. It's like their offense didn't put up 32 points. But Joe Mixon had a good game. It was pretty solid. So we'll see what happens on this one. Well,
there's a little fun fact. Texans have actually never won a divisional round game, nor have they ever won a road playoff game.
Huh.
So.
Oh, yeah. So the last time.
But maybe they'll change the whole narrative.
Right. The last time they won a playoff game was when they were home in 18 or something, when we went
For the Bills,
the Bills versus them.
But then they didn't make it. They lost the next week during the divisional round. So they don't have great stats. But again, you never know. Maybe they'll just rewrite it all.
All right, next up, Washington Commanders at the Lions, who've been resting as well. That number 1 seed off the rest coming against the Commanders. And I don't think anybody thought that the Commanders were going to win last week, but they did.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm taking the Commanders at plus 9.5. Just to be clear, I believe the Lions are going to win. But I think the Commanders might cover the spread. If you've been watching the Commanders, Daniels is crazy. He'll find ways to pull out a win. He'll find ways to make plays that don't look like they're going to be able to happen. He's almost like a little baby Josh Allen, like ready to blossom into, Josh Allen after Josh Allen retires, because, we're not going to have 2 of those. Absolutely not. The Lions, they got David Montgomery hopefully coming back. That's pretty much what they're saying. They just haven't made a permanent announcement. We know that the Lions are really good, but their defense is kind of still a little shaky because they've been hurt a bunch. They're still missing players that they need. That they've just got a banged up defense overall, which could help the Commanders out, especially with Daniels being able to run the ball around and do some of his weird, crazy stuff. So keep that in mind, and that's why I'm taking the Commanders. Again, probably aren't going to win, but I think they'll cover that plus 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going on an under 55.5. Massive total with the 55.5. If you looked at the last Lions game where they played that, the last game of the season against the Vikings for who was going to win a division, Aaron Glenn had that defense rocking. I know they have a lot of injuries, but they did such a great job against the Vikings, really locking down Addison and Jefferson. And if they used the same formula, which they did against the Vikings, it was, run the ball, control the clock, then, force those, 3 and outs or whatever on defense. If they could do the same thing, they get the win here, but under the 55.5 points here. So I kind of see this one being a Lions, 27 to Commanders 13 type game, but it's somewhere around there, plus or minus a field goal. And I understand with the 9.5, it's a lot of points for a playoff game.
There is another fun fact with this one.
Let's go. Okay.
Doesn't really affect betting unless you want to do some prop bets, but Dan Quinn, the coach of the Commanders, big fan of going for it on 4th down. No matter how bad it's going to look, he still wants to do it. Something, I guess, there's some detailed story about something that happened in his past that he lost some kind of game for not doing it, so now he does it a little too much. But it might help with the over if you're going with the over, or the under because they're not going to get it. So just a little fun fact. Keep in mind. I
mean, Dan Campbell always goes for 4th down. So
you're bringing the 2 Dan
nobody's
crazy
punting.
Dans together. Yeah.
Nobody's punting. We're going for it on 4th down. Let's go.
There will be not a lot of punting. That is for sure.
That's why you see the 55.5 points. But we'll see. All right, we're both on this one.
Yeah.
Rams at Philly. Going to be maybe some snow, about 60% chance at this point of snow. Not too cold, though, 34 degrees in Philly. Similar to thesis on this one, I think the Rams would be happy that they got the W last week when they were, probably not supposed to, even though they were a 4 seed. I think this one, the Eagles behind, Saquon, and they keep moving along. I mean, their offense is, their line is too good. So I don't think the Rams are going to be able to stop them much. The question is whether or not the Rams are going to be able to score points on the Eagles or not.
This isn't going to be a crazy defense game. It's going to be more, how good is the Rams' offense against the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles have a good defense. So we'll see about this one. I mean, they got to go across the whole country, which is another bad thing. But, 6 points under a touchdown. I figured it was going to be, more than a field goal, but under a touchdown. So it's not like this spread is crazy.
Eagle favor,
I just think that they're Eagles. I picture the Eagles being, in the NFC Championship game next week.
Yeah, again, we could all be wrong. Something crazy could happen, but the math says the Eagles are going to win and they're going to cover the spread. So going with it.
Yep, let's do it. And the last game of the week, everybody wants to watch it. A rematch of what they already played this season, but this time it's in Buffalo.
So it's in Buffalo. Now, yes, it was 35-10 we lost. However, we are getting, we now have for this game, because this was week 4, we now have Milano back. We now have Taron Johnson back. And then we have Bernard back. Those 3 were all out during the last game when the Ravens, we played the Ravens in Baltimore. The weather, apparently Baltimore is currently like trying to practice in, however they can come up with frigid temperatures to try to mimic what they're going to be playing in this 12 degrees, possibly snow. The Bills have been playing, they just posted something like a couple hours ago, playing in full-on snow in Buffalo outside, so they're just making sure that they're ready to go. It's Buffalo. You're coming to Buffalo. It's a whole nother vibe there. Everybody says it. I don't think you could find one person, one commentator, one guest fan, one player that will not say playing in Buffalo is something else, and the Bills team thrives off of it. Josh Allen was quoted saying during his press conference, he's like, I just want to get to the 4th quarter and be up enough where they start playing Mr. Brightside and the whole stands go, because that just brings on a whole new energy. And like, they want this, we want it. I'm gonna be pooping the whole game, just pooping in my pants, because this is a very nervous game. There is, I was even nervous to play the Broncos, but this is on a whole nother level.
Yep.
But I don't know. If you read what people are saying, a lot of people, it's 50-50. Most people just want to watch. They said the MVP winner should just be whoever walks off the winner on the field on this game. Like that's it. We don't need to keep going. Whoever is the winning quarterback in this game, that's the MVP. But a lot of people are taking the Bills on this one, and I'm shocked. But I love it. I want them to win, and I just don't know. It's probably going to be a close game. Might even be so close where it wins with a field goal kick, and that makes a difference.
That's what the spread says. I mean, look, it's not just the Allen versus Lamar show as much as those guys are important, and Bateman's important, and Shakir and these guys. But the reality is, Derrick Henry's going to touch the ball a lot, and James Cook's going to touch the ball a lot, especially in this cold temperature. Is Allen going to? And then to be honest, Allen and Lamar are probably going to run, but they're probably both going to have 10 attempts each for 40 plus yards each. But this is going to be a balanced attack on offense, where it's going to for both teams. It's going to be running, a little bit of throwing, but the 51.5 probably seems a little bit off to me. I probably would lean a bit under on this one, but I'm going to take the Bills plus the 1 point. You could go with the money line too, right? I mean, it's just a matter of like if it was 21-20, you get your money, you get money back on a push versus not. But the reality is, this should be a great game to watch.
Definitely, that's the point. Everybody's just, if you're not a Ravens fan, you're not a Bills fan, you're going to enjoy the game no matter what. But I gotta say, let's go Buffalo! Come on, we could do this. We could get further. Let's keep going and give it a shot. We could, if the Texans don't take out the Chiefs, can finally take out the Chiefs in their hometown during a playoff game. We got to keep going. So let's go, Bills.
Got to start out a game better than last week, where it was 10-7 at the half. Got to come out and punch them in the mouth. That was a thing where I was disappointed with how they started. They finished the game well. That was good, but they got to start faster against this team, because the Ravens are too good for that shit. Mm-hmm. Good game. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Very scary.
All right, a little brief summary of those little quick action here. What are we actually betting? I'm going with the Texans Chiefs over 41.5 points. I think it's a very low total. I think the game should be somewhat closer than the spread saying. Maybe the Chiefs win this one by 6 or something like that. So I'm going to go with the over 41.5.
I'm taking the Commanders plus 9.5 versus Lions. Again, I think the Lions are going to win, but I think it's a high spread. It should be a closer game than we probably expect. So I'm going to go with that.
Yep, I'm going with the under in the same game at 55.5, 56-ish, because I think that the Lions' game plan is going to be more of clock control, and if the Lions' defense steps up the way they did against that Vikings in that last game, they should hit the under 55, 56.
And then we're both on the Eagles, -6 versus the Rams. The Eagles are just the better team, and -6 spread seems correct.
Yep. I'm on the Bills, which she obviously loves it. I'm gonna take the +1 home dog. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna take the +1. I know they beat them up during the regular season, but it's a different game. Bills are on a roll, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Game of the week on that one, Sunday night, 6:30. Be there, be square.
For sure, going to be such a good game.
Absolutely. I'm going to be cold just watching that game at 12 degrees with snow and all that stuff. So bundle up at home. This way you don't get those weird side effects by watching that game.
Well, don't worry. You get to watch Fitzpatrick be shirtless the whole time because he begged to be sent to that game and he got his wish. And I believe he's getting his chest hairs waxed in preparation. So it should be fun. Either way, everybody's going to have a great time. Go Bills. I can't say it enough. Get this win. Go Mafia. Make some noise. Oh, it's going to be good. Yay!
All right, everybody. Quick one, fun weekend. Go enjoy your betting. Put your bets in. Do some props. Figure it out.
Make some money.
Make some money, yeah. We'll see you next week. So we talk about what 4 teams could potentially be in the Super Bowl. All right, until then, bye.
Go Bills.
I want to make money. Couple of Bettors. Couple of Bettors.